Welcome, soul visionaries and potential soul visionaries. I am your host, Sherrod Cohen, and you are now entering the Soul Vision Powercast, a place where we keep it unfiltered and raw. We'll talk about anything from porn to politics. We'll talk about things you might have heard or saw. Today, we are talking about how our sons of narcissistic mothers affected in life. How our sons of narcissistic mothers affected in life. We're going to drop a couple details on that, so let's kick it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. A lot of, especially in the Black community, we tend to overemphasize the lack of male leadership in our community as if it's the only issue that we're facing. In our community, everything is blamed on the Black man. Everything. No matter if it's his fault or not, but everything is blamed on the Black man. But there are other reasons why Black men turn out to be the way they are, the reason why our children turn out to be the way they are. You know, we look at the deadbeat dad situation. You know, that's not the only situation, but that's the only one we seem to recognize in the Black community. We don't recognize the simple fact that the deadbeat dad was chosen by the mom. We don't acknowledge that the incarcerated guy was chosen, the guy that was murdered, you know, for whatever reason, chosen, the guy that's denied access to his children, chosen. And we're just now talking about the stepdad trying to step in, but the mother doesn't want him disciplining the children. So, you know, we have to, you know, our community, man, is just infected with the lack of accountability bug. And we're going to kick it. We're going to jump off into this, how our sons of narcissistic mothers affected in life. Maybe we can get some answers to these modern women out there who claim that the Black community, the men aren't shit, but then at the same time they're saying that they can raise boys to men, but then at the same time complaining about the very men that are available in our community. And it's some bullshit. Let's roll. When it comes to a boy's personality, most of us think like father, like son. But as the primary caregiver in the household, a growing boy picks up quite a few traits from his mother too. In their formative years, boys learn some of their earliest lessons about life, love, and trust from their mothers, and having a narcissistic mother can be particularly devastating. Sons of narcissistic mothers are more likely to have lower self-esteem, trouble forming meaningful relationships, and difficulty regulating their emotions. However, these sons are not necessarily doomed to a life of narcissism for themselves. There are treatments available and effective coping mechanisms for dealing with a narcissistic parent that can help these sons to lead a more well-adjusted life. Why would a narcissist even have children? Every narcissist is different, but one trait that almost all have in common is that they treat people as a means to an end. Usually that end is filling some sort of hole in the narcissist's self-image. Narcissists have a difficult time regulating their feelings and self-confidence and rely on an unending supply of adulation and attention from external resources. Given their selfish nature, it's somewhat surprising that a narcissistic mother may choose to have children at all. Child rearing is a huge commitment and requires thousands of hours of selfless effort. However, some narcissistic parents have children for the sole purpose of gaining access to an unending well of supply. Children are a built-in source of supply. Sons naturally look up to their mothers and imbue them with positive characteristics. They feel unconditional love for the woman that birthed them and took care of them. Unfortunately, this unconditional love doesn't go both ways for a narcissist. For a narcissist mother, love is transactional and only given when it is to her benefit. All right. See? But you got these brothers out here, touting all moms. Just put it this way, all mothers aren't bad, but damn it, all mothers aren't good either. How do narcissistic mothers affect their sons? The parenting style of narcissistic mothers can be acutely damaging. Sons experiencing years of emotional abuse are less likely to find a loving partner, maintain a healthy relationship with that partner, or be able to empathize with their own children. Now see, we're getting to it. See, you got to realize all these men that you're claiming that ain't shit, that you done slept with and had kids with, go back and look at the men in their lives, if there were any. And then some of the men that were in their lives, were they the real father or were they stepfathers that didn't have any say-so in their lives because the mom didn't want nobody to discipline her children but her. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to read this shit again. How do narcissistic mothers affect their sons? The parenting style of narcissistic mothers can be acutely damaging. Sons experiencing years of emotional abuse are less likely to find a loving partner, maintain a healthy relationship with that partner, or be able to empathize with their own children. Damage is inflicted through many forms, but all are directed towards the same goal, providing the narcissistic mother with more supply. Below are some of the most common ways for narcissistic mothers to manipulate their sons. Setting up unrealistic expectations. Narcissistic mothers see themselves as the best at everything, the most beautiful, the most talented, the most intelligent, and most importantly, the best mom. She has a very high opinion of herself, which bleeds over into expectations for her son. Sons of narcissistic mothers are expected to receive excellent grades, be the captain of their sports teams, and be a part of the highest social circles. Anything less reflects poorly on the mother and challenges her inflated self-image. Whenever the son fails, she'll blame him for his lackluster performance, but when he succeeds, she'll take all the credit. Or if she doesn't blame him, just say that when this son grows up, he grows up to be a troubled adult. All of a sudden, he didn't have a father. But if he grows up to be the next Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan, or Mike Tyson, success-wise, she'll take all the credit. These women want to take all the credit, but they don't want to take any of the blame. Now, playing sibling off each other. Narcissists like to make comparisons, usually favorable ones between themselves and those they see as less than them. Narcissists also like to compare their children and play them off of each other to maintain a position of power. Narcissistic mothers are adept at pushing all the right buttons in their children to sow discontent. When a son is doing well in school, the mother will point out how popular their siblings are and vice versa. Anything that will foment jealousy between the children, is fair game. Getting love through guilt. Getting love through guilt. Narcissistic mothers are fantastic actors when it comes to playing the victim. Sons will be reminded of what they owe the mother and the responsibility he has to the family. Sometimes this will be financial, if the mother has fallen on hard times, or emotional, in which the mother guilts the son into showering her with praise. In any case, the narcissistic mother takes advantage of the son's natural desire to make his mother happy, no matter how unreasonable she is being. And see, and this is the thing, as men, you have to be able to tell your mom no. You have to be able to put her back in her place. You don't have to be rude. You don't have to come off like she's some hoe in the street. But hey, sometimes, you have to put people in their place. And as you grow older, as you become, as a son, teenager or younger, you're not going to say too much of anything because you're dependent on your mom for a lot. But once you become a man, you have to be a man all around. You just can't do it towards some people. And if mom's is one of those people that's unreasonable about her request, you have to let that be known. You don't have to be disrespectful, but you still can be a man about it. Cutting the son down. Even when everything is going swell for the son, a narcissistic mother will find a way to break his self-confidence. If he just got a new promotion at work, she'll note how the extra responsibilities will cause him to neglect his family. If he's spending more time with his kids, she'll comment on how he'll never move up in his career. Every conversation will be a battle over how he's not doing enough or is making the wrong choices. Completely ignoring the son. Not all narcissists are manipulative. Some are downright neglectful. For a narcissist, other people and their desires are a hindrance to getting the things they want, and so they ignore everyone else, including their children, until they go away. Sons of neglectful narcissists will always be striving for the attention they were denied as children, which can be a path to narcissism. The short answer, will the son become a narcissist? The short answer, maybe. Sons of narcissistic mothers are always trying to please them, which is an impossible task. This constant striving has the potential to make the son a narcissist. When the mother inevitably is disappointed, the son will try harder and harder to receive the same level of praise and affection. Eventually, the sons start looking for alternative sources of validation, friends, teachers, or other family members. Each is a stand-in for the mother, but they help to build the son's ego, which is inflated to compensate for the mother's resentment and disappointment. It's easy to see how this cycle creates a narcissist in the son, who is likely to continue the pattern of behavior with his sons and daughters. The narcissistic cycle isn't inevitable, though. The insecure son could just as easily become depressed and be unconcerned with how anyone else feels about him. Narcissism involves both genetics and environmental factors, and it's difficult to say what effect a narcissistic parent will have on their child. What is certain, though, is that the son will grow up insecure and less able to form healthy relationships in their adult life. So hopefully this is helping you understand where some men get their traits of lack of responsibility, the traits, laziness, lack of responsibility, or things of that nature when it comes to their own children. A lot of these mothers are raising these sons. And the funny thing is, these mothers are raising the sons they themselves wouldn't date. These mothers are raising the sons that other women are complaining about. But when it comes down to Mother's Day, all of a sudden, every mother in the black community is a great mom. Bam. Sons of narcissistic mothers in marriage. Having a narcissistic mother can be toxic to a boy's emotional development, and this is particularly acute in how he deals with women as an adult. Having a narcissistic mother can be toxic to a boy's emotional development, and this is particularly acute in how he deals with women as an adult. These sons will never have experienced genuine love that is not transactional. They'll also find it much harder to open up and establish emotional intimacy. Their relationships will be shallow and based on fulfilling an emotional hole that was left by the mother. Narcissistic mothers are also more likely to sabotage their son's relationship out of jealousy and fear of losing their supply. In the dating phase of a relationship, narcissistic mothers will point out the flaws in their son's potential partner. The son doesn't want to be caught The son doesn't want to be caught in between a disapproving mother and his new partner. So he'll end the relationship and suffer through a string of short-term and insubstantial flames. And the funny thing is, just like I say, in our community, everything is the man's fault. Everything's the man's fault. Everything's the man's fault. But if you listen carefully to a lot of women complain that this mother is overbearing. This mother has too much control. This mother is too involved in his life. We got to do better. That's all I'm saying. This is to say nothing of the problems of dealing with the narcissistic mother-in-law. Narcissistic in-laws will attempt to isolate their children to gain power over their son or daughter-in-law. Sometimes the child will recognize the harm being inflicted, but often remain oblivious or feel too powerless to confront the parent. The situation gets even more complex if grandchildren are involved, and the narcissistic mother can use them to shame her son and his partner. Are you a narcissistic mother? Are you a son of a narcissistic mother? For anyone that's never had a narcissistic family member, this question might seem ridiculous. Of course, you would know if you had a narcissistic mother. This isn't always true, though. Children of narcissistic parents grow up under a warped reality, and since we only get one set of parents, it's not that simple to know what's normal and what's not. These are some of the biggest red flags that your mother is a narcissist. Let me drink some of this little hookup. All right. She's an emotional roller coaster. One minute you're the greatest son in the world, and the next you can't do anything right. A narcissistic mother's feelings towards you are dependent on whether she's receiving the admiration, praise, and reverence from you that she desperately needs. You're in her good graces so long as you're providing supply, but you don't serve a purpose once you stop supplying or actively challenge her. And that's like most black women out here. Black men are really great, when we are out here, hey, black women, queen, mother of the earth, all these other good accolades, but as soon as we challenge them on the things that they're doing wrong in the community, all of a sudden you hate your mom, you hate black women, you're gay, and all this other stuff. See, listen to this. She's always manipulating you. Do you feel like every word she says is designed to coerce you into acting or feeling a certain way? Parents are supposed to unconditionally love their children, which is why it is so emotionally jarring to be treated as a means to an end by your own mother. These manipulations often take the form of gaslighting, where the mother presents a version of reality that strays far from the truth. Like, just one of them things where your mama tell you your dad ain't shit, he wasn't shit, he did it, woo, 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 woo. But then if you grow up and you mature, go ask your father if you haven't been around him or whatever, or if you haven't asked him, get his side of the story. There's always his side, her side, and then the truth. But a lot of people, I guarantee a lot of people don't ask their father their side of the story because they don't want to realize, or they don't want to become cognizant of the fact that their mother was a liar. It just is what it is. She destroys your self-esteem. Your mother is supposed to be your biggest fan and cheerleader. But for sons of narcissistic mothers, she's actually your biggest critic. Narcissistic mothers often shame their victims to raise their own self-esteem. Everything is a competition for her, and she can only bring herself up by cutting the son down. She loves to show off. Narcissistic mothers have an innate need to show everyone how special and successful they are. Sometimes this takes the form of grandiose displays of wealth. Other times it's an obsession with physical appearance. This is especially apparent on social media, where the technology encourages users to advertise their prosperity to get more likes, which can be particularly embarrassing for her children. And you see this all the time. Women get out here half dressed, want to show off their body. We're this, we're that. I got this kind of money. I got this, and woo, 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 woo. A lot of y'all don't realize that you're not good parents. You're just good providers. You feel a complete lack of empathy from her. Narcissists are incapable of understanding that other people have hopes, desires, and feelings that are separate from their own. Obviously, this is problematic for children rearing as kids. Children rearing as kids need to feel like they're loved and understood. Sons of narcissistic mothers develop defense mechanisms to protect their emotions, which often takes the form of lashing out. Sons of narcissistic mothers develop defense mechanisms to protect their emotions, which often takes the form of lashing out. Others become withdrawn, bottling up their emotions and walling themselves off from human connection. Narcissistic mothers and their sons, how to cope. Narcissists are usually unwilling to change their ways unless they see it as advantageous for themselves. If you're the son of a narcissistic mother, the most important thing you can do for yourself is to recognize that you are not the problem. From there, you can work to identify some of your narcissistic mother's behaviors and how they may have affected you. So, I mean, it's okay, man, to look at your mother in a way where it's, where you can judge your mother, man. It's not, I know in the black community, we're so hung up on it's taboo to say anything bad about the mothers. But that's what's wrong. That is what's wrong. We have a lot of bad parents in the black community. We're able to call out black men, but we're not able to call out black women. If you want equality, it has to be equality all across the board. Y'all know how I feel about equality. I don't think there's equality. I think there's balance. But these people want to fight for equality. But they don't want to fight for equality. I don't think most of these people want to fight for equality. I think they just want special treatment. All right. What's next? Understand narcissism. Learning about narcissism and how it manifests itself in your mother will help you gain some insight into your childhood and adult relationship with her. Understanding how her need for supply caused her to manipulate or lash out at you can boost your feelings of self-worth while often facilitating smoother interactions with her in the present. Feel your feelings and then let go. Thinking back to instances of abuse is sure to lead to some angry feelings, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, there's an ancient Buddhist proverb that says, holding onto anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Long-term anger doesn't hurt your narcissistic mother, but it'll certainly eat away at you. And I've always said, when someone comes to me, because I have a lot to say, I give the other side of the story in this black community. I defend brothers a whole lot. And then, I've had folks come at me, you must hate black women. Nah, I don't hate black women at all. I love black women. If I didn't love them, I wouldn't try to correct some of the behaviors. But it's also another reason why I don't hate them, because hatred only harms the host. So why would I inflict harm on myself through harboring hatred? It doesn't make any sense. Don't look back. You can't change the past. Narcissistic mothers inflict some serious wounds, but the best you can do is heal from them and move on. You can try to forgive her for some things, realizing that she has damaged herself, but don't feel obligated to. Healing happens at your own pace and shouldn't be rushed. Now, here are the final thoughts on how do narcissistic mothers affect their sons. Growing up with a narcissistic mother is never easy, and chances are the son is going to have some scars. But it doesn't need to relegate him to a life of misery. Children are not responsible for their narcissistic parents, even when they're fully grown. Narcissistic mothers abuse their sons because they lack a strong identity and are dependent on the praise of others. Recognizing what is and is not narcissistic abuse will go a long way in healing the wounds of your childhood and helping to structure a workable adult relationship with a narcissistic mother. Setting boundaries is key, as is taking a step back to get some emotional detachment from the situation. And that's the end of this article. They got 21 parenting signs of a narcissistic mother. This article is in the Narcissistic Life. And who was it written by? This was written by Alexander Burgermeister. And I'm going to include the link to this article in the description. But as you can see, there's more reasons that a mother, there's often been a question asked, who impacts the child's life more? a father that's absent or a mother that's there, or a narcissistic mother, or a bad mom. And obviously it has to be the bad mom because she's there every day. They say giggle, garbage in, garbage out. So she's feeding this young man all of these bad traits, and you don't think he's going to use them. And then once he uses them, that's when you get your toxic masculinity, because it came from a toxic feminist. So that's all I'm saying is we have to start looking at the other side of the story. If the black community is going to heal at all, we got to stop, turning a blind eye, to the black women in our community. We have to be adult enough, mature enough to say, okay, dig this here. We're going to have this conversation, but then we're going to have this conversation. We're going to have it all across the board. We're going to talk about everything. We're not going to do that passive aggressive shit talking about, oh, I'm just trying to be positive and avoid uncomfortable conversations. No, that's just being a passive aggressive, weak individual. And that's dangerous, because that's another thing we have to do is this positive, negative energy shit. If it's uncomfortable to us, it's negative. No, that's not how it goes all the time. Sometimes the truth is going to hurt. Love is going to hurt. Not love where somebody's beating you, but love in somebody telling you the truth. And that's the thing that the black community runs from the most. Truth and accountability. I know I'm going to get some hate from people, but hey, it is what the fuck it is. And I don't really give a damn if you get mad about it, because obviously if you're upset at it, hit dogs will holler. Peace.